Welcome back to Do Brick City, everyone, and today we're taking a closer look at the LEGO City, the clone base, and the small hidden Star Wars details throughout the city. And welcome back to Do Brick City, everyone, and today's look closer at the clone base and checking out some of the small details hidden throughout the city. So we have a closer idea of all the small details that I made into the small city. That makes it a Star Wars city rather than any other LEGO city that is out there. So taking a closer look at the clone base itself here. So I'm going to start here on the left side, where we have the 1st Battalion, which was the blister pack that came out with the Phase 1 clone troopers. And I integrated some of my old clone troopers, like the old Phase 1 gunner, and then also my custom plain clone commando, which is right next to the wall here with one of my turrets that is fully modular. Can go up, down with the barrels and the openings to it. Right next to it we have the 187th Mace Windu units, the purple, lean purple troops, which are guarding the door, or the gateway. And there we have one of the small hidden details of, we have a POC standing on top of the gate and a AT-AT crossing sign. In front of we have the 501st and the 332nd with my new Commander Rex. And then of course the mountain, which has full interior for the clone base, which, since it's against the wall now, we cannot really access anymore. But then on top we have our younglings training with Master Huyang right in front of the Jedi Temple, which is also interior, which has some kyber crystals and some Jedi artifacts there. And then of course our open area where we have the AT-ATE and the future storage area. And then in front of it we have our hangar, which has Benny inside, who is working on Yoda's spaceship. Of course we all know how much Benny loves the spaceship, and for him it's a dream job to work on all the spaceships now. And then we have the new Coruscant Guard, which is modified to be more like an attack helicopter with some of the rocket pods that I put on, and the big GAU-20 machine gun. And then of course also specialized my pilots in it with the custom helmets. And then of course the 212, which is upcoming mountain and interior barracks, which will be open to be seen from the sides. Of course, don't forget to like and subscribe this video. I would really appreciate it for all your support, so I can make more content for all of us. And looking at the other side of the wall, we have our national park. That's where I have my blacksmith in the A-frame, which is housed by Darth Maul and the Mandalorians. And their forge, of course. Blacksmith, of course, needs the forge, which is a perfect combination of the two areas. And then in front of the A-frame, we have Hakapontas and the Ewok having a lunch out here as a small little detail. And then on the other side of the street, where we have the tank, of course, with the Marines and the Iowa National Guard guarding against all my clone troopers. We also have a spice mine, which is a reference to the Solo movie, which you can see with the figures. And then I'm using some of the Buzz Lightyear crystals for hyperfuel. And then here we got the dam with the Selma detonators, which is kind of like with the river here, our border between the Clone Army and the Republic, and the Mandalorians helping Earth. Here's a little bit closer look at the river. I made it all green. We got a pipe coming out with some green stuff going into the water, which is probably not good for the fish and the wildlife. And then next up we are going to Birchbox, where we have Palpatine buying some plans, potentially for Death Star, while Yoda is trying to figure out where in the galaxy he is at to get to the clone base. And then we have the police station. I have not put this over yet, but with the police station and the assembly square, we have our frozen in carbonite criminals that are on display, so you can see the most evil of all criminals in the city, also known as Jar Jar Binks. And I think Andor is making a getaway there. And we're getting to one of the fan favorites, the custom corner, which is my Mandalorian embassy, which is heavily guarded with loyal Mandalorians. We also used some of the Mandalorian or Ahsoka vs. Darth Maul sets window pieces by the 501st homeless guy here, which is a reference to the Obi-Wan TV show. And then of course Mando and baby Grogu. Next to the Lego store, where we have Mandalorian trying to buy some Lego sets which have gotten so expensive that he has to pay with pure Beskar just to afford one of those sets. And then of course next to the embassy we have the Bad Batch hideout. Of course I don't need to tell for who that reference is for. Of course we have all the main characters here who are living in this little apartment complex with Crosshair taking a look out to protect everyone. And if you can see, throughout my city I have Mandalorians and snipers guarding of course the whole city. Going over here, we have our Inquisitor HQ, also with Morgan's garden, which is reference for the Ahsoka and some of the Rebel stuff, which is still under construction. And then we have our Separatists here taking over the banking. And then my modular Botanic Garden, which has which has Bosk there, some Indiana Jones references. It's just a nice take to it. And then at our fancy hotel, of course, we have Padme Amidala, who has currently a room booked there. And just some of the small details, like Lord of the Rings, are adding to the whole story. Going to the back here, which is still a little bit under construction, with our Sig figure tower. That's where we have all Star Wars figures that have ugly sweaters or ugly Christmas sweaters. They will all be going to go in that building there. And then on top of our Jazz Club we have another Mandalorian guarding the Palace system, air defense system, to keep of course all the citizens safe. Once again, against the clone army. And we have a little bit of a Marvel corner for our Marvel friends. But as you can tell, there's not too much going on. Just that the Empire took over Daily Bugle and has some guards in front of it. And a little conflict going on. That must have been not a good negotiations between those two. But we will see how that will work out. Going in front of Mogwai Center, we have our grocery store, which has classic space inside. And all the rebels and the New Republic guarding it. And the which will be their living corner, where I'm going to start putting in the future more rebel type stuff, or maybe some of the Ahsoka show as well. It's depending on where the future of those shows go. And for the meantime, the ghosts will be parked there in the open area. Coming here to the beach, of course, we have Darth Vader taking a day off, building some sandcastles with the stormtroopers. And if you see on the other side, by the light tower, we have some Urukais taking it over, which is my new Lord of the Rings corner, which will be just a reference, since we also have on the top here Sauron's Eye. And then in the final back corner we have Little Tatooine, which is not as subtle, in telling what it is, since it's very obvious a Star Wars area or Star Wars neighborhood. Now we also have Juggernaut, some of the Marines, and most of the original trilogy, with some references to The Mandalorian, since a lot of it is taking place on Tatooine. And then we have, of course, 2 Harrison Fords. So sometimes you can see some personalities are double in the city. Right next to the Juggernaut, we have Luke versus Blue Milk. And then all the beachgoers with Princess Leia just taking a sun bath. So what do you think of my city? Do you like how I mix Star Wars with city together? Would you change anything or maybe have anything to add? Let me know in the comments. I hope you liked this episode and I will see you soon for more.